We're at Fourth Tap today.
Yes.
Again, since the benefit, this is my first time back. I'm really stoked to be here.
Yeah, they keep having us back, and we don't know why, because we keep trying to get ourselves kicked out. And,
They fed us that one time.
Oh, that's
keep
why, yes.
back.
But they really should come down to Fourth Tap. If you haven't been down to the Fourth Tap here on Metric, it really is like the best beers in Texas.
Delicious.
Yeah, it's probably the world. So
it's a sick setup, too. It's a cool space to see a show. So
yes.
if we come do this again, or you should just get in your car and come here.
Yes.
Yes, right?
That's right. And they do wrestling here. They have a full-on wrestling ring in the back. So you definitely need to catch that, yes.
I need to catch that, actually.
You do. And we're here with a live studio audience, so thank you all for being here.
Thank you.
Thank you. Yes. It's fantastic. Hey, I have a couple of some good news also to share. One, we launched a Patreon page today to support this show. So if you're interested in supporting local music, it is on patreon.com/music firsthand. And I also have some other cool news. Next week, we kick off a monthly showcase at Cuvée Coffee Bar. It's the Mystery Music Series. We're going to feature 3 artists, and we're going to focus on a particular genre. And I'm excited to say that Becky Jo Neal will be hosting.
They let me host it.
Yes.
I'm so excited. No, I cannot wait. It's going to be so dope. Mystery Music Night is going to be the best time of the month. I agree. I think it's going to be really cool.
Yeah, so check out Cuvée Coffee Bar, 7 p.m. It's going to be the 3rd Wednesday of every month with Becky Jo Neal and 3 surprise artists. Yes, that's going to be fun. Hey, so your likes and shares, if you're tuning in online, please like and share. It supports the show. It also supports the artists that we get to bring on here. And hey, we've talked too much. We're really here to see Jaimee Harris. We're so thrilled to have her on the show tonight. And so with no further ado,
Jaimee Harris, ladies and gentlemen.
Yes.
Thanks for having me, all. This is my friend Eddie Dickerson, by the way. He's going to be playing some fiddle. You don't care that I smoke too much. And I don't care that you're not enough. You don't care that I'm not what you want. And I don't care that you're not in love. But you keep coming over. And I keep going under, with the moon half full and the sun on its heels. And I can't say no, leave you out in the cold, with our hearts half in it, we're loving a kill. It only hurts as good as it feels. Care that you disappear. You don't care that I hate it here. Hey, I don't care, but I do fear. But you don't care for me, my dear. But you keep coming over, and I keep going with the moon half full and the sun on its heels. And I can't say no, leave you out in the cold, with our hearts half in it, we're loving a kill. It only hurts as good as it feels. And I can't quit you, though I'd like to. Only you know my kind of lonely. And I should run far, happen in all kind, go and find someone who wants me. But you keep coming over, and I keep going under, with the moon half full and the sun on its heels. And I can't say no, leave you out in the cold, with our hearts half in it, we're loving a kill. Thank you.
Yeah. Wow. Oh my gosh.
Good
I
start.
get goosebumps. I mean, listening to Jaimee. It is so good. I don't know about the rest of you, but that is impressive. If you've just tuned in online, we're at Fourth Tap Brewery. So come down if you're in the area. It's the best beers and the best owners in town. So come down here and say hello.
And the weirdest props.
And the weirdest props.
We brought all the weird props.
Yes.
Just come hang out.
And Jaimee, so we're here with Eddie, who we just met a little bit ago.
Yeah, who have you brought with us
Yeah,
today?
we got a surprise
Right?
guest.
I know, Eddie Dickerson. This guy's great,
Yes.
isn't he? Y'all love him? I love him too. He's a good person on top of everything else. So that's the cherry on top.
That
How long
always
have you
helps
guys
to be a
been
good
like
person.
working together? Yeah.
What's that?
How long have you been making music together?
This might be our third gig. It's very random, but we've been friends for quite a long time. So, and I've been wanting to play with Eddie for a long time. And so now that I'm doing a little more of these solo type gigs, I'm trying to rope him into the scene. So.
Yeah, well, thanks for joining us. This is
Thank you,
fantastic
man.
to have you both. And send in your questions online, and we'll ask them. They're sending the questions here to me through this supercomputer, so I will ask questions as they come in, and then ask questions here in the audience as well. A question to get us started. Jaimee, reading your bio, preparing for today, I thought it was really interesting. You started your career performing with your father as a duo.
I did, yeah.
That had to be a trip. What was that like?
Oh, it was great, actually. So we never really marketed myself as a kid actor, but my dad and I wrote a lot together. So my dad played in cover bands when I was growing up, still does occasionally, and he was the guy that noticed I was interested in music, bought me my first guitar, played me my first Emmylou Harris song, and my first Patty Griffin song, and Jimmy LaFave song, and all of that, and so we started playing out as a duo. And when we started out, we played a lot of coffee houses, and did about half covers and half originals, and kept that going, and it was really cool. I actually got to work some with Maren Morris, who is quite famous now, but she was really happening in the Dallas scene, and because I grew up in Waco, there weren't a whole lot of opportunities to play there, and so we played a lot in the Dallas-Fort Worth scene, and I still have a lot of fans that have followed me since that time. But it was great, I mean, I learned how to drive on the highway, driving the gigs, It was great. I remember one of my favorite stories. I was playing with my dad. We opened up for the Black Crowes the day after my senior prom. And I didn't think about it, but I put on nails, like fake nails. And I'm kind of a dude, so I didn't know the whole process. And the next day I pull out my guitar and I'm like, oh man, I'm not going to be able to play this thing because I have all these nails on. So he had to rip them off with, dad stuff. Dad stuff. It's good to have a dad around.
Commit!
Sure, a little duct tape fixed it.
But there's a lot of duct tape in the Harris household.
Trying
He's a
to
big
find
fan.
my other shoe the day after prom. I don't think I was doing anything productive. That's the coolest thing I've heard of. That's so dope.
You were playing with the Black Crowes over there?
I don't know what the hell I was doing, but I lost my damn shoe.
Yeah,
That's all I know about that. Did you is your whole family musical? Is it just you and your dad?
My mom has gotten more into it now. I'm actually playing a festival this weekend in Florida that my parents are going to go to, the 30A Songwriter Festival. Cool. But my dad's always been musical, and I got two younger brothers. One is 7.5 years younger than me, and he lives here in town. He's in an audio engineering school and is in a great band called the Irons. And then my youngest brother is an opera singer and is also loves he plays cello and he loves classic country and so,
okay.
Yeah, we all kind of have our little different styles.
We should have got the whole family on here. We could have
I know, right?
Oh,
She's like, well, bring them out. No, they're all just secret. That's perfect. Musical family.
So all that time on the road with your dad, were any the favorite dad joke that you had that whole time?
Oh my gosh. Well, my dad, I can't even recall my favorite dad joke. I know that my dad is really funny. If you're interested in finding out more about my dad, he's an attorney. I don't know if you know this, but he put out this great video called Don't Eat Your Weed with his law partner about a year ago that went viral. Which is excellent because it's hilarious because it's two, lawyers singing, but the information is also I didn't know that's how that went. So it's informative. And so he's just one of the funniest people I've ever met. So
he's using music
it's
for
too
good
hard to,
now.
Yeah, oh, absolutely.
For justice.
That's good. And he's an attorney, so we're not going to ask any more questions about it. Got it.
No, that's so good. When did you move to Austin?
I moved to Austin in November of 2009. I was singing background vocals with this guy named David Ramirez, who I'd met kind of in the Dallas scene, and we worked together kind of in between the time of me going to college and then afterwards, and he moved down to Austin because there's this great producer here named Brian Douglas Phillips who kind of brought a couple of us down here, and I was thinking about moving to Dallas because I kind of had something going on there, and I had this like job lined up at a shoe store or something. Thought it was going to be really great, and this guy spent about 2.5 hours preaching to me why I should move here instead. And his closing argument was, we're at Barton Springs Saloon, and he pointed, and he said, "There's a club down there where James McMurtry plays twice a week." And 4 days later, I moved here. I was like, that's pretty much where I want to be.
Done.
Good decision.
I was gonna say, like, for most, like, you think like Americana or like folky or more country-leaning artists would move to like Nashville.
Yeah.
My mom was like, "Why not?" That was actually, I'm preempting a Linda question. Why not Nashville over Austin? Is it that factor?
Yeah, well, I mean, Austin's. I'm from Texas. My family's like part of the old 300, the Republic of Texas. We're Texas through and through. But I think Austin is such a great place for you to. I like to play live, and I think in Nashville you can play live certainly, but I like to play a lot, and I like to work with a bunch of different people, singing harmonies and stuff. And so, in Austin, I've truly been able to sing and work with a lot of my heroes here, and I don't know. I mean, the people are great. When I was still eating meat, barbecue was a big pull.
Yes.
Fair.
Yeah,
That's a good pull.
Yeah.
You can't get Texas. Yeah, you can, like, that's what I was saying. Like, she was from Texas, Mom. Like, nobody from Texas is not going to stay in Texas. Like, if you're going to, like, be a musician, you might as well go to Austin. It's the best place to be in the country. It's the live music capital of the world.
I love it here.
And you've played in almost probably every major venue in town, right, since you've been here.
I've been pretty fortunate.
Yeah. And are there some favorites that you have?
Well, I mean, getting to be on the Paramount stage with Jane Black Fret, and also, with the Jaimee thing was quite emotional. But being on that stage was pretty powerful. I was like, wow, I've seen Mavis Staples on this stage, and that to me is enough, And of course, the Cactus Cafe. I mean, so many of my heroes have played there, and the Cactus was actually one of the first venues to be really supportive of me, and David as well. And so that was really exciting. Of course, Strange Brew was one of my favorite places, and that's really my whole band kind of came out of that venue and everything. Of course, they're gone now. But actually, my favorite gig I've ever played is there downtown. You know about Caritas? They do the soup kitchen.
Yep.
And Laura Thomas from Combo Plate Booking, and you can't ever come back. It's a one-time gig.
Okay.
And that was my favorite gig I ever played in town. It was just really emotional and powerful.
I feel like the stakes are high. You get one shot.
I know. It's like, I didn't know that. I was like, that was my favorite gig. When I come back? And she said never, but there's a good reason for it. I was like, it's not you. It's not you. And I said, okay, great.
What made it so special?
I just, there's something. I grew up in I grew up in the, in a conservative Baptist environment, and Waco has a pretty serious homeless population, and I think something about me being an addict and an alcoholic, I kind of looking at that going, wow, that could really be me. I mean, had I not made different choices, who knows where I would have ended up. And but they're so grateful. I mean, each person there, and they would share a little bit of their story, and I don't know, it was really powerful. I can't really place it, but it was really moving.
Some of those life-changing moments. To ask a serious question, if you don't mind talking about it a little bit, because I think a lot of us connect in different ways. You went through a rough period, and you talk about this on her bio. She mentions this, so I'm not asking too personal of a question here. But I'd like to understand, what was that process like for you? Right, you went through some tough times. You talked about getting sober up. You talked about getting arrested a couple times. Right. Could you share a little bit of that?
Sure. I mean, I when I moved to Austin, I was hanging out with musicians, but and partying, and it all seemed normal to me because that's what everyone in my circle was doing, was staying up and partying, and I didn't want to miss it. But I have some history of that stuff in my family, and it really started to take a toll, and I was losing jobs and not making rent and all of the classic stuff, forgetting stuff, not waking up for work, I got arrested the second time, and it was the night after I played this really awesome gig, actually, and I just met Betty Sue, who's another one of my favorite artists, and the day I got out of jail, actually, this message I got from her, because I thought I was going to be in jail for a while, because at that point I knew, no one is going to enable me any longer. I've exhausted all my resources, and I think it would be pretty, especially when you're like, how can I stop drinking? I don't think I can stop drinking. Maybe me being in jail for a year is the best thing for me to do. So mentally, I was prepared to be there for a year, and a friend of mine found me and bailed me out. And so then I was kind of like, oh my gosh, like I have to face the world, you know, and how am I going to do this? And the first message I got in that wasn't from a family member or someone that knew what had happened was from Betty. And she said, can you open this gig for me? And I said, yeah. And that was literally the thing that made me say, I'm going to continue to live.
Wow.
And I'm going to fight this thing.
It's like
so.
the reason why, and then the reason why you're not at the same time. Like it's almost impossible to be at a live music venue where there's not alcohol or drugs present, period.
Yeah, and I remember when I first quit drinking, my dad was kind of concerned because he saw I was going out to bars and stuff, and I said, wow, the music is really what heals me, though. It's really important for me to still have that. I couldn't give that up, too, at the same time.
Do you think that you have like an addictive mentality to your music now? Like some people quit drinking and then they go to the gym every day.
Yeah,
it's like you quit drinking and you're like, I'm gonna double down on the songwriting.
I wish I was one of those people. Yeah, I was born with an addictive personality. I mean, like, you know, whatever was Diet Cokes, I would drink 12 of them. I mean, whatever it is, I want all of it, you know, at one time. But music has always been an obsession. I mean, I can't even remember a time I wasn't. My friends will tell you I'm always talking about music. And sharing
in your
music
bio,
and
it's like you're
discovering.
constantly absorbing as much music as possible.
Yeah,
So
that's
you're just like
the
always
treat.
seeing shows, playing shows, listening to music.
That's true. And I know, because whenever my wife and I go out to see shows, like, there's a good chance we're going to run into Jaimee Harris at one of the shows. She's always out. You're like a big supporter,
probably there.
which is what makes this community special,
Oh, absolutely.
right? Yeah. So on that note, maybe we could hear another tune.
Well, cool. Yeah,
All right.
yeah. So this deals with a little bit of that. I still fight depression. That's no joke. And so I wrote this song after about 12 days post breakup of not really putting on pants and watching a lot of Law and Order, SVU, and Forensic Files.
Dun, dun.
Dun dun. That's my text tone, actually.
Nice.
Genius.
In a depressive state, how long will I feel this way? Is it forever? In my mind, prisoner, will I be okay? Will I ever be okay? And not someone that everyone hates. Will I ever be okay? I'm locking all the doors to my house. Lights off, no need to ever come around. You can take my number off your fridge. Never need it, never need it. Not even to be saved for a rainy day. Oh, if I were you, I'd forget I ever knew my name. And now you wanna call and say you're sorry, but you're not sure what for. Hey, save your apologies, I can't take yours anymore. In a depressive state, how long will I feel this way? Is it forever? In my mind, prisoner, will I be okay? Will I ever be okay? And not someone that everyone hates. Will I ever be okay? Who knows? Chicken rain. Well, I could have sworn I was happy before you left. I guess I could have been a bummer the whole time. In a the breaths of stay. How long will I feel this way? Is it forever? In my mind, prisoner, will I be okay? Will I ever be okay? And not some world that everyone hates. Oh, will I ever be okay? Will I ever be Thank you. Thanks.
That song reminds me of the chunk in your bio where you're like, I'm always worried someone's going to come up to me after the show and ask me, are you okay? Do you have a response to that? Because I would love to know there's an automated
Oh my goodness.
hand them a card.
Just hand them. It's funny. Like I said, that mental illness stuff is. That's for real. And so sometimes, when I go out, I'm in a good mood, like I am today, and everything's good, and I'm feeling, whatever. But some days I'm going out because I need the music because something's not right with me. And as I've noticed, I've been really grateful to have, kind of progressed in my career, whatever you want to call it. And sometimes it makes it hard though because you run into people and they're like, how are you? And I kind of have this deer in the headlights. So I'm like, but I usually give an honest answer. I'm telling you, stuff's not really going well right now, or I feel kind of weird, and people are like, okay.
That's healthier than
so just
not.
honest. Oh, because it's so exhausting to try to be somebody else. Yeah, absolutely.
Right.
So.
But you do want to hand out a card sometimes, I'm sure, and just be like, here you go.
Yeah, there you go.
Leave
Actually,
me alone.
Joanna got me a shirt. What does the shirt say? Yeah, that's enough.
Oh, that's good. You've read my shirt. That's enough social interaction.
I was like,
that's
I saw
awesome.
her wearing it. I was like, I think I need this for this time in my life.
That is great.
That's too good. I'm a fan of that one.
And you have an album coming out here soon that you've been working on for a while.
Yes.
So would you tell us about the album, what we can
Sure.
expect? We're all very excited about this. Yes.
I know
Yes.
some of you have it. So yeah, in November 15, we started crowdfunding for this record, and I got the opportunity to work with an amazing producer named Craig Ross, who's done some work with my hero Patty Griffin. He's worked with Spoon, and we used pretty much my band, John Green on the drums, my good friend Brian Patterson, who I grew up with, who's an amazing guitar player. And my friend Chris Nelson sang, my friend Sela, and then my friend Bonnie Whitmore played bass on it. She's great. And then we had Mike Hardwick come in and play a little bit on 2 tracks. If you're not familiar with him, he plays with John D. Graham and Eliza Gilkison, so 2 of my heroes. And it was really great to have that. And my friend Jimmy LaFave came and sang on the record as well. And so, and then our good friend Mark Hallman did some mixes for us and mastered the record. And so right now, we sent it out on the 31st, so New Year's Eve. So if you pledged, you should get it. And I think the link is still open. I'm supposed to call them soon to tell them to take it down. So right now you might still be able to get it. But we're hoping to, do the whole thing, really release it on a national level soon. So spring.
Yes.
Thank you.
And
Little pen dance.
I assume the album itself is just because what we just talked about a little bit ago, kind of a cathartic album, right, to produce. It's going to be a pretty powerful album to put out, right? Is that what we're...
Yeah, it's funny. It's pretty dark, and it's kind of interesting the way that when we started making the record, actually there were 2 songs on the record that didn't exist before we started making it. And I think that can be kind of the power of having a producer. Yeah. So on the 3rd, we spent 4 days doing basic tracks at Wire with Stuart Sullivan, and one of the days, I think it was the 3rd day, I was pretty tapped out, and he was like, yeah, we did like 15 songs, and he said, yeah, I'm still looking for kind of another song. And I was like, well, I've got this thing. And I showed him, it's a song that's actually on my website right now. It's kind of this like unrequited love thing. And he said, why don't you work on that? So he stuck me and Brian, who's my guitar player, who also plays a little bit of piano, into this room. And it's the same piano that Impossible Dream, was used on Impossible Dream, that record. And we ended up, I just broke down. I started crying, and I wrote a song about my grandmother who had recently passed away of Alzheimer's. But I hadn't really had time to process before we went into the studio. And the last song that I wrote for the record, I wrote with Craig, and I didn't know, of course, when we started making the record, April 2016. 2016 was not my personal favorite year. A lot of loss in our community, our music community, and so even in the process of making the record and going through those songs, it was, you know,
Yeah.
to be looking and diving into the darkness a little bit was kind of healing and helpful.
But I think that's, with a lot of fans, we're going to know something special is really coming. It came from a very,
Yeah.
very sweet spot. Yeah,
Nobody wants to watch something phoned in.
yeah
This
that's
is
right.
something like real and authentic, especially if it's something that you're resonating with deeply, especially if it has something to do with your community. That's things that people in the music industry want to hear.
And that's the cool thing, I live with another songwriter named Jane Ellen Bryant, who's
That's
really
great.
excellent, but more in the pop scene. And the good thing about, I've always been drawn to Americana, folk, whatever you want to call it folk and roll, but what we do with the band and everything. But it's a genre where albums are still totally relevant. And that's why I wanted the packaging, everything. I want it to be an art form. The whole thing is an art form because for 17 years I've been playing live, and that's been its own art form. So it was interesting having 17 years of experience and then learning for the first time how to do this. But I did know at the heart of it that we're going to make a record. It's going to be a record. It's going to be cohesive. It's going to have beautiful artwork because who knows if I'm sure I'll put out another record, but it seems that things are going back to singles, so I wanted to
I'm very
make
biased too.
it.
I think I'm so pleased that you did that because I have a very strong opinion about that too. I think that
Cool.
the album is the way to go, right? And I think that artwork, we had the Wheelwrights on here and they came up with a gorgeous album and we should get you all in a room to talk about it.
Like a couple dozen of artists to collaborate on it, and they wanted it to be, it's like
we're so glad that you did that. So I'm excited about it because it should tell a whole story, right? When you listen to the full album. And I think we lose that with singles today.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
Can't wait to hear the next
Let me check into any questions in the room. I'll take a moment if anybody's thought of any. We have a live studio audience here. Any questions online, feel free to send them in here. We're here at Fourth Tap Brewery, by the way, which is the amazing and best beers in town.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Having a good time.
Thank
Yeah, we
you.
got one
Yes.
woo.
Uh-huh.
Woo!
Yes.
She's like, I do not condone that woo. No, sorry. We retracted the woo, but I'm gonna sign off on it.
So, you mentioned folk and roll, which I love that. If you haven't seen Jaimee's logo that she's got too, it's pretty badass.
Thank you.
So what is folk and roll?
Well, to me, when people ask me, what is it that you do? I love the spirit of folk music. I love the collaborative, and obviously I'm a huge, it seems like I'm obsessed with Woody Guthrie over the past 3 or 4 years, kind of getting really interested in Woody Guthrie.
Yes.
Yeah, thank you. We can clap for Woody Guthrie for sure. I've been spending some time in Okemah and in Tulsa, and I'll go up in the archives and everything. So there's a lot that I love about folk music. And obviously, I always listen to a lot of rock and roll. And so I thought what we do with the band, it's not quite folk, and it's not. I have some socio-political stuff, but it's not straight up folk music. But
Right.
I am a champion for the spirit of it and the community of it, and the power that it has for people to connect. And especially now, what's going on in the world, I think it's really powerful that we have people like Eliza Gilkison and Mary Gaucher writing songs like that and putting them out in the world, and. So yeah, folk and roll is just kind of how, when people ask you what you do, I didn't want to say Americana. I still say Americana, I guess, but I just wanted to give it a little bit of an edge,
Yeah, and it definitely does. And it has a little of that rock kind of.
Right online it
beat to
says
it,
real Americana. I was like, I saw that subtle shade. That was good.
That's
No,
right.
I think it's important, as a female songwriter, it is important for you to be able to express your voice in a way that I don't know, on a level that you have in Austin right now, your fan base, the ability for you to be able to be like, yes, I am a singer-songwriter, I am a woman, I am in folk and roll, made it up, claiming it, and it's my, you know what I mean? That's, I feel like especially in our current climate where we're finally acknowledging women's voices in certain aspects, for you to be able to be like, yeah, I'm here and I'm present in this, seemingly male-dominated universe, but women have been writing the songs and singing the songs since as long as any man has been doing it, and they do it just as well, if not better.
Yeah, I have to
That's
say,
important.
my friend Bonnie Whitmore she's really the champion of that.
There we go.
She
Celebrating on the
takes the
ladies.
cake with all that stuff for sure, but she has inspired me to own more of that. Yeah.
And to celebrate it and to lift other lady songwriters up.
Yes.
Bada boom. PSA. That was my end of that PSA. Sorry.
I appreciate that. It was a good PSA. But speaking of folk and roll, maybe we could hear a little more folk and roll.
Yeah, sure.
All right.
All right. Well, those other 2 songs I played will be on the record. This is a kind of a newer one that I like to share with you now, that I wrote coming back from Tulsa for my good friend Jaimee. Careful, that thought is a greed in the morning with the heaviest breath God's breathing for you. This thing could have gone in 1,000 directions. Still our hearts would have broken in two. Well, I picked up the car, I'm headed to Tulsa. Could use the drive and the time all alone. I'll take the back roads and stop in Okemah. Say hi to Cheryl, get back on the road. Starts to wonder, I can't take the news, can't turn down the dial for fear of the sound of your voice creeping in and singing along with me, songs of hard traveling, rambling around. Well, this car's a graveyard for styrofoam and around plastic, pierced with a straw right at the top. It tastes like the road and it hints of your memory. Now where in the world was I meaning to stop? We're traveling on, I'm looking for something, maybe for someone that we both do. The rain's coming down harder, my lids are heavy. I call on your spirit to guide me on through. Well, where is she now? The girl from up yonder, she rode around on the right side of you. Her voice, it was soft, her eyes, they were piercing, only pair that I knew that rivaled your blue. Careful, I thought, as I greeted the morning with the heaviest breath, gas breathing for you, my friend. Thank you. All right, so we'll do the title track of the record for you now. This is a song inspired by a story a friend told me about his first marriage. Yeah. So that's all I'll say for now. Anyone else had a first marriage? That's not polite to ask, right? Oh, really? I'm learning stuff about you every day. Should I buy you a beer now or something? You didn't have to, right? You couldn't, no one would have known. Well, one person would have known, if you were lying. Now my brain is inventing a story. This is the problem. This is the inconvenience of being a songwriter when you have this idea in your head and you start making up these little movies, right? You know? You're like, oh man, I gotta get this movie down before it leaves. There was a darkness in that house. I felt it chill my bones. Saw your mother at the kitchen table, just sitting there, arms crossed. I didn't lie to make it through the night. I didn't learn to suppress my appetite. Hey Emma, you want to come sing a little bit? Is that cool? All right. She offered us what she had to eat. Guess she'd been holding on to all of those holiday meats. I smell the milk spoiling from the refrigerator. Pull the long black hair off my plate. Said, baby, let's get out of here. I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna save you. Red rescue, red rescue. I'm gonna save you. I'm gonna save you. Red rescue, red rescue. Were colored all like blood. I never looked, but I swear there must have been a dungeon. I saw your brother there, sleeping on the couch. Don't think he's moved since, don't think he'll ever. Oh, am I gonna save you? Am I gonna save you? Red rescue, red rescue. Am I gonna save you? Am I gonna save you? Red rescue, red rescue. Am I gonna save you? Am I gonna save you? Red rescue, red rescue. There's a darkness in our house. I felt it chill my bones the second I carry you. Wedding dress over the threshold. You told a lie. You told a lie. It was easy for me to believe it. All that you said was it's not as bad as it seems. But it was, baby. How am I gonna save you? How am I gonna save you? Red rescue, red rescue. How am I gonna save you? How am I gonna save you? When that darkness lives in you too. How am I gonna save you? How am I gonna save you? Red rescue, red rescue. How am I gonna save you? How am I gonna save you? My friend Emmett D. Thanks for singing with us. She's great. You gotta check her out. She's got her own band with Eddie, the Troll Smashers.
Where did she come from?
That was incredible.
Heaven, I
Yes,
think.
this
Hello.
amazing angel emerged from the,
It's a
from the
sweet
You should
sky.
see her play guitar. Wow, man.
What?
Whoa.
And
I
then
thought
she
y'all were
flew
related
off.
for a
We don't
second.
know. Was-
Okay, bye. Well, fun.
that was pretty amazing. Angels do appear on the show.
Yes. Wait, what's the name of your
Yeah,
group?
so
Where can we, how
what's
can we
the
pitch
inter-
your group? Yes.
Yeah.
Where we-
You want it?
So Emma and I play in the Troll Smashers. That's our band. So you gotta come check us out.
Yes.
I'm in. You sold me.
Which-
Troll Smashers.
Yeah.
Super in. Oh, that was super cute. Oh, thanks. That was really lovely.
We've
I didn't
seen-
know we had a surprise guest in the audience.
We have like our next. We're gonna have the Troll Smashers on next. Yes. Apparently that was a good idea. Yes.
There we go.
That was incredible. That was really nice.
We are about to step into the designated mom questions
Oh, yay.
portion of the evening. It's my favorite segment of the week, other than getting to interview these wonderful musicians, is that my mom calls every week after the show to tell me basically what I did wrong and what I should have asked. And so I started writing them down, and now it's gotten to the point where when I call her on a Tuesday, she knows exactly what I'm asking for. And
I'm
these
waiting
are the
for her to call
ones-
me. That's
I know.
we know.
We've got to set up
I
a
know
direct
Mom
line.
Linda's watching.
She
so-
is. Hi, Linda. We love you. My mom is also an attorney. It's just scary.
cool.
Yeah, it's scary.
Please don't
I
call
saw her Facebook post and I was like, I love her.
Yeah,
Instantly.
I love her too. Actually, it was her birthday on the 5th, so shout out to Mom.
Yes, happy
We love
birthday.
her.
Yes.
Okay, so she kind of themed this one. It's a little bit New Year's resolution-y. So, right? And I was like, ooh, pressure. But they're pretty dumb, so it's good. Like in the good way. And I love you. We talked about this for 20 minutes. Okay, so the first one. These are rapid fire, no pressure. You don't have to like answer them too in depth. Really just the top of the mind. Go for that one. Okay, so what is the reasonable period of time before you break a New Year's resolution?
2 days.
Solid. I'm into that.
My New Year's
good.
resolution for 7 years in a row is to learn how to juggle. And about December 28th every year I go, oops, forgot to learn.
Not happening.
You grab those oranges out of the fridge. You're like, I'm
steep.
out.
Nope. Leave this to the clowns. Okay, so what is the funniest or stupidest New Year's resolution you've ever heard of? Could be yours or anybody else's.
Oh my gosh. I don't know. I mean, juggling is like, what am I going to do with that?
That's true.
I'll throw in my own for that.
That's
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
up there. That's true.
That's pretty
yeah.
up there.
Pretty good. Also, I think it's maybe because her birthday is in January and she's being macabre about it. She has this theory that everybody overindulges themselves in the holidays and there's nothing really to look forward to in January. Do you look forward to anything in January?
I love January. Well, see, I love New Year's. And I normally go
See?
out of town for New Year's because I love the whole feeling of starting over when you're somewhere else. You know, it feels more like starting over if you're like resetting. But, I need a new.
I like
I need
that.
a new year.
See, Linda, there's something
That's
worth
good. I like it.
January. Okay, so did you have the best and worst New Year's Eve experience?
Oh, well, the best was probably the first time I went out to Terralingua. And we did, my good friend Bonnie Whitmore plays with Colin Gilmore and Butch Hancock and and Jimmy Dale Gilmore, and I got to go out to the desert for the first time with a bunch of my friends. And then, on New Year's Day, I'm a big Townes Van Zandt fan, obviously, and so they do a big Townes thing down there, and that was one of my favorites. This New Year's Eve was hilarious. It wasn't necessarily that it was the worst, but I'm pretty sure that Jane and I came very close to dying on stage at the New Year's Eve. It was like freezing. It just started to snow.
Oh, you were
And what was,
outside?
no, it was okay. Yeah, we're outside on this huge stage. But what was funny was that they shot up all this like fake fog stuff, like the smoke cannons, and it like got Jane right in the mouth. It was pretty funny. But then I found out later that they were actually supposed to be flames, and Jane was like, "How terrifying would it have been if flames were coming towards my face?" So it wasn't the worst, but it was definitely it was a little bit painful and definitely memorable.
I get it, you're in pyrotechnics, but you could have done the math.
Yeah.
All right, that's okay. And the last one is my favorite because clearly you're obsessed with music. It's your life. You're incredibly talented and gifted at it. What are your completely unrelated music hobbies?
Oh my gosh, I love to play skee ball.
Oh.
Skee ball. I'm a huge skee ball. Anytime I'm on the road, I go to an arcade. So I don't drink, so I go to an arcade instead of
Hey,
a bar.
when you're in Kansas City, I'll let you know the place. There's a really good barcade
awesome.
there. We were talking
Yes.
about her tour. Yeah, because you're on tour right now, technically, right? Is
I
that
leave
what
tomorrow, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that's
Woo!
right.
That's so exciting.
Isn't there a big skee ball tournament coming up in town?
Yeah, I used to be on the league, actually. I used to be in the skee ball league. We were ski free or die hard.
We did not set that up. That's
Die
good.
hard.
Ski free or that's
I love
good.
that.
Yeah, it was good.
Oh, that's great. Yeah, that's exciting. Other than tour, the South by?
Yeah, well, then you leave tomorrow, and then you're now going to be a South by Southwest showcase.
Yeah,
right, coming
yeah.
up?
So actually,
Yep.
I'm going out to the 38 Songwriter Festival. If anyone's going out there that's listening, I mean, the headliners are all my heroes. I really am shocked that I'm on the list. I'm really excited to be there.
Yeah.
And then I'll be playing some gigs in Maryland the following week, and then we'll be back for South by, and then hopefully we'll get some stuff cooking in April for the record.
Now, have you been at Showcase at South by before? That's something I wasn't able to find much information on.
I
So is this the first?
I never applied before.
Congrats.
So this is the first year that
this
felt
is
like it
great.
makes sense.
Yeah, congrats. That's a big
Thank
deal.
you.
That's a huge
Yeah.
deal.
And I'll be showcasing at Folk Alliance. Also, if any folkies are watching at the Folk Alliance conference.
Cool.
Yeah, in February. So that'll be
That's a big deal.
exciting for me too. Yeah.
Congratulations.
Yeah,
Thank
so you have a very exciting 2018 coming up. with a
Looks
new
like
album
it.
and performing.
Bring on
Yes.
January, Mom. I'm into it.
Yes,
Come
that's
on,
right.
Linda. Better things. That's
Yeah.
so exciting.
Hey,
Congratulations.
so before we close the show, though, I offer usually this to artists all the time. Is there anybody you want to give a shout outs to? This is an opportunity. We're live. Is there anything you want to close on before I close?
I'm sure there are people, I don't even know who's watching out there. Well, Spring's always, I love the, all of my peeps are here.
Yeah,
the
that's
Anderson
right.
family
Thank
and
you
Joe.
all for coming. Yes.
And,
that's
yeah,
right.
and my best friend Amy. I should shout out to Amy. My friend Amy It is our 7-year friend anniversary today.
Wow.
Congratulations.
So that's exciting. Amy's been on the ride with me for a long time. But if there's anyone I forgot to mention, then just send me a text message and I'll call you and tell you what's been going on in my life. And
Well,
I might get an earful, but
we're so glad you came on the show here. It's, really wonderful, right?
Thank
Everybody,
you.
thank you. Yeah, really.
and thanks
great.
to Eddie.
Thank you, Eddie.
Thanks for having us.
Yes. And we're going to schedule the Troll Smashers soon, so yes, that's going to be good. And thank you all for coming here tonight. Thank you, Fourth Tap Brewery, for hosting us. Thank you.
You guys are the best.
Yeah, and just a few other shout-outs. New Standard Manufacturing is one of our sponsors, so if you all need shirts or merch, New Standard Manufacturing
comfortable
is really
shirts.
good. And we have shirts here for sale, by the way, and we're giving $10 of every shirt sale, or $20, $10 to the Sims Foundation.
Oh, amazing.
So
Yeah.
you should buy a shirt, because we'll be giving half that to Sims. And then let me thank Benjamin Allen Levy here is our
Yeah.
producer and sound engineer. Yes, Claudia Petrovka, my amazing wife, has been running social the whole night. Yep, and Becky Jo Neal performs at Esther Follies every Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Yep.
Yep, so you can see her at Esther Follies
hang out.
perform. Yeah. And we're live every Tuesday. So we have a really unique special guest next week that I actually can't announce because for all these contractual purposes.
legalities.
But we have a special one next week too that I won't announce, but we're every Tuesday at 7 p.m. And let me give one other shout out too. If you guys have never checked out Micro Sessions before, you really should check this out. It is another amazing startup in town that allows you to sort of do speed dating with music. So they have one coming up here at the end of January. Is that right? January
With Grace,
27th.
right? Is Grace playing that one?
Yes.
Is Grace Pettis?
Grace Pettis.
Yeah, ooh, one of my favorite songwriters and singers. Oh, yeah, one of my best friends. Yeah.
So that is going to be another fantastic one to check out. So that's what's beautiful about this whole community here in Austin. With that, I'm going to close. One last shout out to Fourth Tap for having us here. Thank you very much.
Love you.
Thank you all for coming. Thanks for watching
Thank you so
online.
much.
Yes, back next week. See y'all. Bye.
Awesome. Thank you.